Prime Hydration came into the beverage scene with a big splash, but it wasn't just excited fans in the headlines. Many people took issue with some of their claims, including us, and now we are seeing more drama with their second product lineup, Prime Energy. But this time, it's actually worse. Thank you to Incogni for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so as we covered in our Prime Hydration video, the team behind Prime knows a lot more about social media than they do about making drinks, probably not surprisingly. Yes, Prime Hydration was a blowout success with their low sugar but good tasting drink. Wow, that's pretty intense. But the product lacks a key ingredient that makes a sports drink, which is sodium. But up until very recently, having a functional product that does what it is supposed to do wasn't really a concern for the Prime team. Prime has been named the official sports drink of the LA Dodgers.
Are we just in the stadium, or are we like the official sports drink?
Official sports drink.
Well, official sports drink.
And the UFC. FC Barcelona is even rumored to be replacing their Gatorade contract with Prime. And you can bet that the boys behind this company are making a ton of money. But since our last video, Prime has been taken down a peg. Canada, my home country, recalled Prime energy drinks for their violations of Canada's health laws, and US Senator Chuck Schumer is demanding that the FDA investigate Prime for their high caffeine content and irresponsible marketing. So in this video, we're going to be doing a breakdown of some of those recent headlines and some of the implications of what this has for Prime and the energy drink world in general. And now we're gonna take a quick pause to pay some bills. Thank you to Incogni for making this video possible. Now, if you don't know what Incogni is, you might want to listen a little bit further. Every single year, both the scope and number of data breaches worldwide are rising, and that includes your own data getting breached too. There are literally hundreds of commercial databases and people search sites out there, and chances are your personal information is being sold or published online without you even knowing about it. The good news is that you have the right to protect your privacy and request that the data brokers delete the information that they hold about you. But the bad news is that it would take you like a million years to do it manually. To make matters worse, you would have to repeat the process every few months as data brokers continue to harvest and collect your data by creating new records. But Incogni puts an end to all of this by reaching out to data brokers on your behalf and requesting that your personal data be removed. And they deal with any objections from their side as well. This entire process is automated, which makes sense in the modern world that we live in. Don't wait though, the first 100 people to use our code FUTUREPROOF at checkout will get 60% off Incogni. Link is in the video description. Thank you to Incogni for making this video possible. Now let's get back into it. Now, to really understand why Prime is in hot water today, we have to understand how the energy drink world was created in the first place. See, energy drinks first hit the market in Japan after amphetamines became illegal. In Japan, most of these drinks were used by white-collar executives. Think businessmen in real nice suits, you know, staying up all night to close deals before the Dow Jones opens or something. I don't really know how investing works. Then a Thai pharmacist created a beverage called Krating Dang or something like that, which basically just means Red Bull in Thai. Similarly, this product was marketed to workers who wanted to get more done, but this time it was directed towards blue-collar labor, like truck drivers who got free cans while pulling all-nighters on the job. And then finally, energy drinks made their way to America, where things took a very predictably American turn. Suddenly, the energy drink world was not just about, you know, having a tool to make your 12-hour shift possible. It was a lifestyle brand, sponsoring only the most intense sporting events ever. Now, if you watched our first video on Prime, their first product line, Prime Hydration, was supposed to be a functional sports beverage, right? Their energy drink is similarly competing in a niche that is designed to be functional as well. Energy drinks were originally sold at pharmacies, and they were meant to taste like medicine. Energy drinks are basically like the sports drink before our modern hustle culture, and they've been marketed in a very interesting way. The idea behind this kind of lifestyle marketing is that you're buying into the idea that the drink implies, right? Like if you're buying Prime Hydration or Gatorade, you want to feel like an athlete, right? You're looking for that like thirst quenching blue Gatorade kind of look. You need your thirst to be quenched. And if you're throwing back energy drinks multiple times a day like some people do, that means you must have places to be. You know, you got deals to close, and you're not sleeping until you finish that Diablo 4 campaign. And here's the thing. The energy drink market is booming. In 2020, the industry was worth $45 billion and is estimated to reach $115 billion by 2032. It is no longer marketed just towards the hardworking hustlers, but anyone who wants to feel their heartbeat pounding in their forehead while sitting still. So really, Prime Energy could not have launched at a better time. With a growing energy drink industry and a social culture that is just ready for this kind of thing.
I believe 18 to 22 is your time to grind. Like really grind, put your head down, work as hard as you can. You're young, you're healthy, you have so much energy.
Today, the pressure to make something of yourself in a social media society combined with the reality that an alarming number of people are working paycheck to paycheck, and you have this perfect environment for energy drinks to thrive. They use dirt biking, skateboarding, and other sensational activities like jumping out of orbit back to Earth to embody that excitement for everyday people who are working really hard themselves but maybe don't have the same kind of sexy looking job to prove it. Now, we just gotta say right off the bat, Food Theory does a very great job of breaking down Prime's ingredient formula and doing the taste test and whatnot, so if you wanna get a deep dive into those things, you should go and check out their video. But in this video, we're gonna jump into their latest drama and give you our thoughts on where this might be going. All right, so one of the big issues going on right now is Prime's ingredient claims. And here's the weird thing about energy drinks that we gotta understand right off the bat. Energy drinks are considered dietary supplements, and as a result, they do not need FDA approval before hitting the market. That being said, the FDA can still investigate and choose to impose regulations, which is how we got to where we are today, currently waiting to hear whether or not the FDA is going to take up Senator Schumer's concerns and investigate Prime. What we do know is that energy drinks are the most popular dietary supplement consumed by teens and young adults in America. 1/3 of teens aged 12 to 17 consume them regularly, and we're gonna get into that later because that's another issue that Prime has as well. All right, so Prime Energy boasts 123 milligrams of amino acids, 300 milligrams of electrolytes, no sugar, 200 grams of caffeine, and only 10 calories. Is this too good to be true? Yes. Okay, so 123 milligrams of amino acids. That sounds really good, right? But a meaningful dose would actually be between 5 and 10 grams. That's like 40 to 50 cans of Prime to get something that you would actually be worth talking about. Nobody should be drinking 40 to 50 cans of Prime. You would possibly die. 300 milligrams of electrolytes seems amazing, right? But as we discovered in our hydration episode, Prime is using potassium rather than sodium to get their electrolytes, which makes it taste better. But sodium is actually the thing that we need when we are sweating profusely during high intensity workouts and stuff. Now, their big claim is to be sugar-free, of course, but this is just being replaced with sucralose, which has its own other raft of issues that we don't have time for. What I think is really interesting here is that they are presenting coconut water as the front man in these beverages, and I think that maybe this is to sort of convince people or maybe trick people into thinking that it's sweetened with the coconut or something. But the problem here is that the coconut water is from concentrate, which gets rid of all the nutritional value. So basically it's just like coconut flavoring with none of the good stuff. But then finally, the thing that we're all here to talk about is the caffeine. The difference between medicine and poison is dosage. And that is very much the line that we are walking right now. Now, to be fair, they are not the only brand boasting 200 milligrams of caffeine. Ghost and Gatorade's Fast Twitch both do as well. Gatorade, you named your overpowered caffeine-laden beverage Fast Twitch? I had to look that up to make sure that it was real. Like, that'd be like naming your cocaine strain Jaw Clencher 1000. But interestingly, Ghost and Fast Twitch aren't risking investigation from the FDA. So what's going on with Prime that is making Senator Schumer target them for this investigation? Are they being unfairly called out? Or is this a legitimate out-calling? Calling out? Huh. So let's break down Senator Schumer's accusations one at a time. 1, they have an absurd amount of caffeine content, technically known, as they like to call it, a cauldron of caffeine. What is Senator Schumer, a fucking witch here? 2, they use extreme marketing tactics. And 3, they are specifically marketing their products to children. Prime's 200 milligrams of caffeine is equivalent to 2 or 3 cups of coffee in 1 can. Believe it or not, this is within the FDA approved amounts of caffeine in America. America, but it actually does exceed the caffeine limits in some other countries. And Prime has lower caffeine versions of the same product for the international market. In Great Britain, the cans that gave a kid a heart attack and sent him to get his stomach pumped was only 140 milligrams. Remember, the recommended dose for teens is more like 100 milligrams around the world, and there is no safe amount of caffeine for children under 12. Now in Canada, our legal limit for caffeinated beverages is 180 milligrams, which is perfect because we're sort of like a blend between America and Great Britain. America's like, fuck it, you can drink as much caffeine as you want, and Britain's like, I don't know, maybe you should do like more like 140. And Canada's just like, I hate it when you guys argue, I'll just do something right in the middle. That's why we have like sprawling, endless suburbia, but we still had the Queen on our bills until recently. Just this weekend, Canada's Food and Inspection Agency recalled Prime Energy because some retailers had those 200 milligram cans, which means that there was like some sketchy bootlegged energy drink thing going on, which also indicates to you how crazy the hype around these beverages has been, that people are like importing them from the US to sell them here in Canada.
Any plants or animals coming in?
No.
Any alcohol or tobacco?
No.
Any cannabis in your car?
No.
Any guns in your vehicle?
No.
Any currency of $10,000 or more?
No.
So is Prime a cauldron of caffeine? Yes, maybe, but they are not the only ones, and they aren't exceeding FDA recommendations in the US, so Senator Schumer needs to look at the whole picture maybe, right? Now their second accusation is that Prime uses extreme marketing tactics. Now I don't see America regulating marketing tactics anytime soon, but it is true that maybe Logan Paul is more extreme than other marketing things out there right now. Look, he's a YouTuber of a particular post-Vine, pre-TikTok era who got famous doing stupid shit and controversial stuff on the internet, right? But I will say that their marketing for Prime has been pretty tame in comparison. Now their final point, which may seem less extreme but is actually kind of more concerning, is their energy drinks look very similar to their sports drinks. In a particular street survey, half the people thought the only difference between Prime Energy and the sports drink was the material of the bottle or the can itself. That is pretty deceitful. Now, whether or not this is some sort of marketing tactic to try and get people to buy Prime Energy instead or something, it's just deceptive. And it runs the risk of having somebody palpitating like crazy with their eyeballs popping out of their head when they thought that they were just getting hydrated. But finally, the last accusation here, and the one that is probably stirring up the most is that Prime Energy is specifically targeting children. Now, this one's hard to prove because it's nuanced, right? But first, let's see what the senator is actually saying. One of the summer's hottest status symbols for kids is not an outfit or a toy, it's a beverage. But buyers and parents beware, because it's a serious health concern for the kids it so feverishly targets. Now, it is true that this product is not good for kids. That is just facts, okay? Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think that any drink originally designed for business executives to chug in between doing lines of Coke should be repackaged for children.
Greg, you total Coke whore.
But what I found interesting is that this isn't even the first time that there have been concerns about energy drinks being mistaken for sports drinks. As far back as 2011, pediatricians and doctors were recommending that kids stay away from energy drinks because of their caffeine and because they were confusing it with sports drinks. And this seems to be the crux of the issue here too. These beverages aren't straightforwardly stating what they are, and people really might buy the wrong thing without realizing it. But can we confidently say that Prime is intentionally marketing to children? Their cans, even though they look suspiciously like the hydration mix, do say contains caffeine and that they're for people over the age of 18. And their marketing tactics are more modern, maybe, you know, they're meant to go viral, and Logan Paul and KSI have huge fan bases which are made up of mostly teenagers. But regardless of whether or not we can say that Prime is intentionally marketing their products to children, we can say this: social media fandom is a community, and Prime has become a symbol of membership in that community. Even if Prime isn't being marketed to children the way Spy Kids or Captain Crunch is, we can deduce that social media marketing influences young people. The doppelganger packaging, the kid-friendly flavors, the bright poppy colors aren't doing anything to discourage kids. And remember, kids are dumb. Yeah! Right? It's all sketchy, right? Marketing to kids, sketchy. Max it out the caffeine levels, sketchy. But what makes it even worse is what this means for energy drinks today. As we've seen, energy drink producers have been trying to increase dosages, pushing that envelope as much as possible for a while now. And Prime was the first one to step over that line a little bit and take heat for it in a big way. And the outcome of this really does impact how these drinks are marketed and consumed in the US in the future. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and hopefully you're not drinking Prime in any capacity. If you did like this video, make sure that you like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you next week.